Hello and welcome back to the GB Fantasy Football channel. Once again, we're going to be looking at the transfer rumours, news and reports around the footballing world. We're all desperate for that bit of information that might decide our teams going into the next season for all things fantasy games, that is. And with the break in between the games, it provides the perfect opportunity to see what teams might be strengthening, what teams might be weaker than last season, and potentially those diamonds in the rough that some might not see. If you do like today's video, please do subscribe to the channel. There's great stuff coming in the future, and I'm sure things in this episode might help your decision making out in the coming weeks. So let's crack on with the video. So the first player up in today's video is João Pedro. Now, this is a rumoured transfer, nothing confirmed on this front, but a transfer from Brighton to Newcastle, of all teams, is being touted. I think it would be an interesting move for the player. I'm not sure where he'd fit in for that Newcastle system. I know they've got Champions League football this season, so the demand for a bigger squad to rotate is essential. Last season, Callum Wilson, the drop off between Isaac and Wilson was just too far. Newcastle have gone way beyond the quality that he could possess. So João Pedro would allow a lot more flexibility in those teams, both forward and back. A lot more defensive work and attacking wise as well. Now I would price him more than likely between 4 and 4.5 million for some dream team. For FPL, which is probably where he'd more likely to drift into our thoughts, 6.5 to 7 million. I do feel like rotation would be a massive issue with João Pedro, as it has been even for his time at Brighton. But last season, 5.5 million was far too cheap. He started slow, had ups and downs. It was an okay asset for the price, but I think for 6.5 to 7 million, it would cover him off in case Isak had a big injury, and you could get the Newcastle centre forward for a lot cheaper than we'd probably expect. So it's a decent transfer. If next up on today's list is an extremely hopeful one from my end, and that is RODRYGO from Real Madrid to Arsenal. Now in the news, it's been very much touted that he is the #1 target for that left wing position. With Sesko also being lined up front for the striker role, it could be a new look front three going into the new season, and quite frankly, it's long overdue. Trossard and Martinelli, decent backups, but not enough to force silverware into the club. I feel like RODRYGO, he's played on the right at Real Madrid, not his preferred position, and there's been rumours that he would really like to play on the left. With Mbappe and Vinny Jr., it's not going to be a thing at Real Madrid. If Arsenal could get this deal over the line, it would be a fantastic one, especially for the fantasy assets. Now, price wise, for Sun Dream Team, I've got him at 5.5 million, and for FPL, I've got him between 7.5 and 8 million. Now, for the Sun Dream Team one, I do feel like it's on the higher end of things, but as we know from Arsenal, nailed players aren't exactly the easiest to come by. Saka, Saliba, Bryce, Gabriel, the two fullbacks rotate, even the centre forwards rotate when they're both fit. Maybe Odegaard you can throw into that bracket as well. I feel like if RODRYGO came through the door, he would also be in that category. Therefore, his price would be on the higher end. FPL wise, 7.5 to 8 million. It fits in that not quite elite category, but also high punt range, similar to what I think Phil Foden will be this season. Not that I'd ever go there again. That ship has sailed. But for RODRYGO, I think he could bring a lot to that Arsenal team. A lot more flair, which is badly needed. I'm very excited if that is the case and he dons the red shirt for next. This is a bit of a different one. This isn't a player transfer. This is a manager transfer. Now, fitting onto this list is Thomas Frank. It's looking like he's going to go from Brentford to Tottenham to fill the void that Postecoglou has left, being sacked after winning silverware for the first time in 17 years. A surprising one for me personally. I thought they'd give him a bit more of a chance, at least a couple of months into the season, to see if he could fix that league form that let him and made him lose 22 games last season. But Thomas Frank, I think if the chip is still around for the assistant manager some many weeks in, or even if it comes back at all, I think it'd be priced about 1.1 million, similar to what Postecoglou was last season. But it's more about what he can do for the players and the Tottenham assets that intrigue me more. If he goes with the same system he had at Brentford, there's a lot of if, buts, and maybes and moving parts with regards to this. But if he does, I can see Pedro Porro and Udogi becoming essential. Specifically, Porro he's been creative at right back, even in the Postecoglou system. In the Thomas Frank one, I feel like he would be a lock in many people's teams going into next season. I'd also think it would help Solanke massively playing in the front three because it's normally a 3-4-2-1 system he deploys. I think Solanke could be a great one going into next season. No excitement from me as an Arsenal fan, but hopefully for all you Tottenham fans out there and people who enjoy having Tottenham assets, it'll be a big success. This next one is a confirmed transfer, and it's Michael. Is it Coyote? Coyote? I think it's Coyote from Brentford. Now Brentford. He was on loan from Fiorentina last season. It was quite a decent asset, to be fair. The transfer has been made permanent, so next season Brentford will have a new right back, which can also mean maybe Keane Lewis Potter could possibly categorised as a defender, being played in the attacking role if he fills the position left by Mbeumo, so that's one to look out for. But Coyote himself, Brentford offer a lot of attacking intent, getting forward. Fullbacks are always a decent shout. I feel like for FPL, 4.5 million, tried and trusted, he'll fill that void very well. No higher, no lower. It'd be a solid asset to have. And for the Sun Dream Team, I've got him down for 3 million, potentially 2.5, so I'll go between the 2.5, 3 million range. With Brentford not in Europe, those early League Cup rounds could be one to target. Maybe the new manager isn't as rotation heavy as Thomas Frank was in the competitions last season, so it could provide a decent route to a lot of points. Chelsea, once again, on the hunt for a new goalkeeper. It seems the merry-go-round in goal at Chelsea is not stopping. An X1 seems like they're going to be joining Arsenal as well with Kepa, 5 million, but he's not the player we're looking at here. It's Mike Maignan from AC Milan to Chelsea. This is a rumoured transfer. It looks like there's still a little bit of difference between the transfer valuations between the two clubs. But with Chelsea in the Champions League this season, I don't feel like they will be as rotation heavy, so could potentially offer a route into that defence. Price-wise, on FPL, I've gone between 4.5 and 5 million. I'm really stuck between what one would be more suited for him in that Chelsea team. 5 million is towards the top end of things, but I feel like 4.5 would be far too cheap. Chelsea defensively last season were pretty decent. A lot of boring 1-0 wins, but for a defensive asset, that's what you're looking for. For Sun Dream Team, I've gone 4 million, between 3.5 and 4 million. Once again, I do feel like Raya and Allison will fill the top part of that list. Maybe one more, maybe Emi Martinez, if he stays around, could be that tier below. But Mike Maignan, he will get save points. He will potentially get the clean sheets at Chelsea, and it's one to look out for. And last up on today's list is a tricky little winger that Man City have seemingly cast out, and that is Jack Grealish. Now, reports today suggest that Everton could be looking at him for the following season. I do think that with Everton's new ground, they want a little bit of flair, new life into that attack, which has been very stagnated for an awful long time. You know what you're going to get from Everton. I feel like a little bit of an injection of creativity and flair would do that new ground a lot of good. And Jack Grealish's potential to get back in the England team as well. After watching them last night, I think it's badly needed. Price-wise, FPL have gone for 6 to 6.5 million. I was leaning for 5.5 to 6 million, but I feel like that would be far too cheap, especially for the asset that he is. Or could be, I should say. He's never been too renowned on scoring goals, but in a team that flourishes around him, similar to how Villa was when he was really pushing the boat, he could show his best version again. Now for Sun Dream Team, I've gone for 3 million to 3.5 million. Bonus points could be plentiful. Dribbles, fouls won. We all know Jack Grealish gets fouled the most of any player in the league. Once again, Everton in those early Carling Cup rounds, or Carabao Cup rounds, I should say, it changes name all the time. I still remember it as the Milk Float Cup or whatever it was way back when. But diverting back to Jack Grealish itself, I feel like the bonus points for him could be quite decent. In an Everton team that won't score too many goals, at least we don't think they will, bonus points, they'd be handy. And for that price bracket, it could be worth a point in the opening weeks of the season. And that concludes today's video. I don't know about yourselves, but I'm very much looking forward to when the fantasy games come back. There's a bit of a lull now. I know we've got international football, but quite frankly, if I have to watch another England game like I saw the other night, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself because that was awful. The faster they can come back, the better, in my opinion. Now, if you've liked today's video, please do subscribe to the channel and like the content. It would be greatly appreciated. Leave a comment down below on how you're filling the void between the seasons and if you're looking forward to them upcoming as well. The socials are in the description. You've got TikTok, we've got Instagram, we've got all the good stuff down below, so please do go check it out. Plenty of stuff out there, and I'm very active on all the channels. Thank you very much for watching. There'll be a new video in the coming days with regards to the Club World Cup, so if that's what you're looking out for, my first draft will be more than likely on the channel before Saturday, hopefully, if all things go well. So thank you very much for watching today's video, and I'll be seeing you with a new one very soon.